Hey everybody, welcome back to Video Game. So today I got a fun and exciting episode for you guys today because as of a few days ago, Melon DS got a big 1.0 upgrade in the public release channel. And depending on when I schedule this, maybe it's a couple days ago, maybe it's a week ago. I've always got a lot of different things to juggle. But honestly, the Nintendo DS is an awesome platform and one that I don't talk about all that much on the channel. But I actually play a lot of DS in my spare time and I've got a pretty comprehensive collection of games. And honestly, as good as it is as a handheld, it's awesome on PC or Steam Deck as well, getting all of the emulation improvements like internal rendering resolution upscaling, and now a lot of new features in Melon DS as well. So we're going to go over all of them today so you know what's new. Before we get too far involved though, do me a huge favor, go down below, hit like and subscribe and ring that notification bell, definitely helps us out. If you feel so inclined and want to support the channel, I got a Patreon link down below as well. And if the 1.0 release sounds familiar, technically some of this came out November 21st of last year. A lot of it has been fixed up, bug tested, and a lot of new improvements have come in, but now that 1.0 release as of July 8th is in the public channel, so you're going to be getting a lot of new options, a lot of new graphical options, some networking as well, so you can basically have a ton of fun with Melon DS and DS games. That is always awesome, and it's got so many fun party tricks like doing LAN support right here. This is two different instances of the emulator running on my PC right now, networked up together, and I'm using the same controller to control both characters so you can see them move at the same time. Stuff like this is absolutely insane, especially on the emulation front, whether you're on something like two Steam Decks, whether you're on a PC with two different controllers bound together, you can get online support and LAN support for stuff like DS games in Melon DS today, and it is incredibly easy to set up. It's like 2 clicks and you're ready to go. Additionally, you're going to see some other improvements on the digital signal processor, high level emulation, and some DSi camera fixes as well, but honestly, the core refactor is maybe the best part of this entire thing. It means that multiplayer is going to be a lot easier to deal with, and that could definitely be a pain point in the past. Leave me a comment down below and tell me if you ever tried to network Melon DS. Because I did it a few times and honestly my results were mixed depending on whether or not it worked. Now on 1.0, doing networking, doing LAN just seems to 100% work every single time I try it, and between the internal rendering resolution bumps of Melon DS, the ability to use whatever controller you want, including an analog controller without having to deal with any accessories, it just is an awesome time as far as DS games are concerned. But under the hood there's a lot of other options as well. We'll go over the LAN multiplayer support as well and the associated betas, because this was something that has been added in new recently and kind of refined to give you a better user experience. All you need to do is click host LAN and then you can go ahead into a game, 2 instances, or if you actually want to use 2 different devices you can do that as well. And you'll see here in real time I am setting up a network game between 2 instances of Melon DS to be able to jump in and be able to play against myself. Now obviously that's not that much fun, but this is definitely going to be something that's great for party nights, or if you want to play around with friends, because some of this LAN support stuff was awesome back in the day. I still remember taking 2 DSs with me when I flew with my wife to New Delhi, India for our honeymoon, and I basically got Mario Kart playing for both of us. We probably played like 3 or 4 hours on the plane, and since it was a direct flight Chicago to New Delhi at almost 17 hours, it definitely was very well welcome to be able to do something like that. So think of it this way: if you're running this on any sort of PC handheld, Steam Deck, ROG Ally, or otherwise, you're going to be able to have some fun with this as well, so long as it is in support. But it is just wild to see stuff like this working so easily. Yes, there's been other ways to network DS emulation in the past, but honestly, unless you had a decent understanding of how networking worked, you'd always kind of run into some issues. People would always ask me how to do stuff like this. And if you do want an emulation tutorial on the new version of Melon DS, leave me a comment down below as well and maybe I'll make that. You'll also see that we have some new OpenGL options for compute shader rendering, which is going to be more closely accurate to what you would expect out of the hardware, out of the actual Nintendo DS, and that's going to be a new option in here as well. If we pop back over to Mario Kart and open up the video window, you're going to see we have that new option for that shader compute renderer. The only thing I've noticed about this is if you dial up the internal rendering resolution a little bit too high, you can start getting some artifacting. So I go over to OpenGL compute shader, which is new, and you can see here I have it at 6x and everything looks perfectly fine. If I go back to software, it's going to look very pixelated, and if I kind of play around with each one, you're going to see that once I actually go too high on the rendering resolution, you're going to get some artifacts. But as far as the audio is concerned, it's been improved as well. It's going to be our next soundtrack sample, 45 seconds, and I'll be right back with a lot more of the new changes that Melon DS got. Definitely sounds accurate to my ear, and as we go back to a previous version of Melon DS that I had some footage hanging around with an emulation tutorial I forgot to upload, and that does happen to me sometimes. If we go in and kind of play around with the video settings, you're going to notice that that second OpenGL option is completely missing. And while the original OpenGL option was good, having another version of it that's going to be more accurate is definitely going to be an improvement as far as everything else is concerned, because you'll see here if we pop in, we only have software and OpenGL. We're missing that third option, and honestly, the graphical fidelity and overall performance of the new OpenGL renderer has been much of an improvement compared to the original version in my opinion. Not to say that the original was having any issues whatsoever, it is just nice, and being able to dial up all of those internal rendering resolutions all the way up to something like 16x internal is absolutely insane. But again, on the new renderer, I do have some artifacting in some games. If I go past maybe 8 or 10x, depending on what game I'm actually playing, you're going to see there's also support for multi-window support. You're going to be able to split MelonDS across 2 windows or more. Basically, you're going to have enough horsepower to be able to run these all at once, but it is going to be something fun to be able to do, because with the DS having 2 different windows and being able to do networking and LAN, sometimes you need to have more than one window open. You're also going to get R4 Evolution and M3 support as well. Not something that I'm ever going to use, but definitely something that people will be curious to see. And I will leave a link in the description down below to the overall patch notes here. There are so many different things to talk about, whether it's improvements to game, improvements under the hood, as far as how MelonDS actually functions. This is a massive update, and now that that release client's been cleaned up and moved over to a 1.0 public with a bunch of extra fixes in it, you're going to be getting the best version of something like MelonDS you can possibly get. And honestly, for the most part, I can't remember the last time I threw a game at MelonDS and it didn't work or had bugs or glitches that would prevent me from playing the game. And honestly, in some instances like the Castlevania Metroidvania games, I actually prefer playing them on my living room television. It's an LG C4 OLED at 65 inches, and the color rendition and being able to see the graphics larger just work for me, because honestly I work from home 95% of the time, so I don't get a whole lot of mobile gaming in. But if you have something like a Steam Deck, you can use that as well. You can use the touchscreen to be able to emulate the DS touchscreen, or if you're on a controller, you'll be able to do that as well. But what I love with this new version of MelonDS, whether you're doing networking or LAN, whether you're using the new render or not, is just the ability to take DS games and make them much larger and much more impressive depending on how you want to play them, because honestly, not everyone has the time for handheld gaming these days. Leave me a comment down below and you tell me, if you're going to play a DS game, are you playing it on a handheld or are you playing it on a large television? I would be curious to hear how most people use it out there, because I think most people are going to be more like me, using this on their actual television or something like a larger screen Steam Deck than actually playing on a DS size handheld. One more soundtrack sample and one of the biggest hidden gems the DS was ever able to make, 45 seconds or so, and I'll come back and show you just one more thing you need to look out for. Now, if you've never played Ghost Trick Phantom Detective, or if you've never heard of it before, do me that favor and play this game, and play it soon. It is one of my favorite games of all time, not just on the DS but in general. It is basically a point-and-click adventure game with some amazing rotoscoped animations and an absolutely killer storyline, pun very much intended, but you won't know about that till the end of the game. Now, like I said, one thing to look out for, if you are using the new renderer and you start getting this corruption, you just need to dial back the internal rendering resolution by 1 step until it goes away. So just keep stepping through it, and then suddenly you'll see everything cleans up completely, and now suddenly the screen looks correct. I'm not sure if that's a glitch in the new render, or maybe it can't support as high of a resolution as the original OpenGL renderer, but just keep that in mind. But it's awesome to see something like the DS get some emulation improvements, and even though this is a 3DS, because my DS was in a box in the closet, I do love these handheld systems. I love all of the games. I have a large collection, and it's one of those things. Getting better emulation options keeps these games alive for absolutely everyone out there. But tell me down below, what is your favorite DS game? I would be curious. For me, it has to be the 3 Castlevania Metroidvania games. But we're done. Go download some MelonDS, and if you want a tutorial, leave me a comment down below. See you guys next time. Bye bye.